Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, incredibly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, January 30th. I have a lot of February game news tonight. It's like thinking February. It is Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. At least I got the year right. And this is live stream number 1013. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, as you can tell, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and sharing some random musings about the hobby as well. So, we are not engaged in rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination, just hanging out, having some fun. So, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you're not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Also, this is a live show, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. And you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 48 hours in order to take part in chat. Yet, another way that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, maybe you get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Tessie Trekkie. Jose Fernandez is with us, as is Wild Hunter and Preston Powell. And I would take a wild guess, Sarah D might be with us as well, one of our chat moderators. Sweet. So we are off and running. So let's get on into the news, because arriving in February, that's why I said, it's February. What? Huh? Oh, wait, no. I think every one of my news pieces, except for one, is February related. Anyway, arriving in February is Astro Knight's Eternity. Here's the latest from Indie Boards and Cards. Many generations after the events of the original Astro Knight setting, a group of ragtag intergalactic scrappers find great power and responsibility forced upon them. Because, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Astro Knight's Eternity is a standalone cooperative deck-building game with several scenarios connected by a single ongoing narrative. Continuing the gameplay lineage of Aeon's End, player decks are never shuffled in Astro Knights, with the collective goal of defeating that scenario's boss before it destroys that mission's homeworld, or all the players seeking to defend it. In addition to the familiar structure of the first Astro Knights game, players will be introduced to all new mechanics throughout the narrative campaign, along with refreshed elements from the Aeon's End series. Can your team of unlikely heroes adjust their strategies to overcome the powerful and unpredictable enemies that threaten the stability of the galaxy? I don't know. It's up to you. Astro Knight's Eternity is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 45 to 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49.99 when it lands in stores in February. I got February on the brain. And Sarah D is with us tonight. Good to see you, Sarah. Thanks for hanging with us and wielding the ban hammer. I have to say, I have not played Astro Knights, but I had played, I don't know if, I'm trying to remember if it's the original Aeon's End or if it was one of the standalone releases. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Kind of unusual that the deck never gets shuffled. It is a deck building game, but you don't shuffle the deck. Kind of wild. Kind of wild. Moving on to our next news piece. Grand Gamers Guild will be releasing Patriot in March. And here's the scoop. Are you ready for a social deduction game filled with betrayal, riots, and a campaign mode? Ladies and gentlemen, I have asked each of you in this room for a purpose. It is with grave urgency and top secrecy that I request your time, your assistance, your loyalty. I ask that you save our nation and in turn, save my life. The president. Now, which president? I'll tell you in a minute. On the brink of civil war, the president of Carmonia has been given 5 letters from an assassin, each marked with a day. It has been made clear that if the president does not meet each of the assassin's demands, there will be dire consequences resulting in the death of the president. 5 letters, 5 threats, 5 days to die. Patriot is a semi-cooperative board game of social deduction, betrayal, strategy, and teamwork for 1 to 6 players. Each player is dealt a secret card outlining their allegiance to the president. Save or assassinate. Through the midst of this, the country of Carmonia is in turmoil. It's up to you and your team to find the assassin whilst maintaining the country through a number of difficult missions. However, if you are the assassin, it is your mission to sabotage, betray, and secretly maneuver the game in your favor, resulting in the assassination of the president and the destruction of Carmonia. Just don't get caught. Patriot is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 30 minutes per player. It's going to carry an MSRP of $89.99 when it lands in March. There's also a deluxe edition, which can be ordered, that carries an MSRP of $125.99. I have to say, I'm of 2 minds about Patriot. On one hand, this sounds pretty interesting. 1 to 6 players, probably a little higher on the player count side than what I can probably get to the table usually. Although there is a solitaire aspect to this as well. So I would take a guess, if you're playing 1 player, you are just trying to defend the president. That would be my guess. Sounds pretty interesting. Now, as I mentioned, I'm of 2 minds with this. Taking a look at this game, this does not look like a $90 game to me. I think there's 4 miniatures. The sculpts look okay. It's a lot of cards, tokens, things like that. I don't know. Just looking at this, and maybe I'm missing something because it wasn't easy to grab a bunch of photos of this. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm missing something here. Oh, okay, 5 minis, it looks like. But I don't know. It just doesn't look like a $90 game. And then there's a deluxe edition for the $125.99. That has, I guess, like metal coins and stuff like that. The standard edition has those miniatures as far as I can understand. So I believe that is the case. But I am curious about this game. I really, really am. Seems kind of unique. Travis Williams, Matthew Constantine, Roger Prudhomme, and Willona's Cave are joining us tonight. I believe this is Willona's Cave's first visit with us in chat. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. And of course, Travis Williams says, Wizards of the Coast can kick rocks. Barefoot, I understand. Tessie Trekkie says, I'm not saying that I should order books that I want Jeff to review and get them delivered to him. No, I'm sure you're not saying that. Why would you say that? We are going to talk about some things that are heading my way and some things which has arrived. Which has arrived? All right, Jeff, how about we use correct grammar here? We're going to talk about some things which have arrived. Slap. All right, moving right along. Let's talk about some role-playing game news because the role-playing game Good Society, which is from Strorybrewers Roleplaying Games, is the subject of a bundle of holding right now. And here's the deets on the deal. Good gentle person, attend to this all-new Good Society bundle featuring, you guessed it, Good Society, the Jane Austen-inspired tabletop role-playing game from Strorybrewers Roleplaying. Good Society is a collaborative Regency RPG that captures the heart, the countenance of Jane Austen's novels, as well as shows like Bridgerton, Downton Abbey, which I have to laugh. It is actually spelled Downtown Abbey in the odd bundle of holding, and it's like, it's Downton Abbey. There's no W at the end of it. And Upstairs, Downstairs. I love how they mention upstairs, downstairs. Create your own Regency character, although the reality is Downton Abbey and Upstairs, Downstairs don't take place during the Regency era. It's okay. From a wealthy heir who falls in love with the aloof new arrival to a charming socialite bent on ruining a rival's reputation. On the surface, Good Society is about balls, as in dances. Mine's out of the gutters, please. Estates, sly glances. I don't know how sly that was. And turns about the garden. Yet players must navigate powerful currents of social ambition, family obligation, and breathtaking, heart-stopping longing. Good Society gives you the power to change the story in your favor, taking control of influential connections, creating rumors and scandal, and orchestrating balls, carriage accidents, and even marriages. Exploit your advantages, connections, and family influence to achieve your secret desire while jealously guarding your good name. For just $17.95, you'll get all three titles in the Society Collection, which carries a retail value of $68 as DRM-free PDFs. The Good Society Rulebook and the Deck of Connections, plus the free holiday playset, A Christmas Prince of Darkness. There's also the expanded acquaintance with fantasy-themed playsets like Pride, Prejudice, and Practical Magics, inspired by the stories like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and the Scarlet Pimpernel-inspired Sense, Sensibility, and Swordsmanship. And of course, let's not forget the Love and Longing deck. These savings do run through Valentine's Day. Yes, February 14th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Rainforest Trust. I've always heard good things about Good Society, and this is a pretty rocking deal because I understand just the expanded acquaintance supplement, expansion, whatever you want to consider it. I think that carries an MSRP, I think in PDF, of $35. So you can get a pretty rocking deal here. And I'm sure this is something that's going to be right up the alley of those of you out there who enjoy shows like Bridgerton, Downton Abbey, The Gilded Age. Yes. Just watched the second season of The Gilded Age. Carrie Coon is such a good actress. She really, really is. Although she's kind of wasted in the new Ghostbuster movies. But she was excellent in The Leftovers. Man, what a show that was. What a show. I mean, that show used to just wreck me. There were some episodes that just absolutely wrecked me. But The Gilded Age is, it's the American Downton Abbey. It's the same creator. I liked it. I liked Downton Abbey too. I wasn't insane about it like some folks were, but I watched it. I binged it over a week or so. So I got a kick out of it. I enjoyed it. So this is definitely something that you want to keep your eyes peeled on if you have any interest whatsoever in the Good Society role-playing game. Go grab it, save yourself some dough, and enjoy yourself. Paul Bigby is with us, and Typical DM has also joined the party, as has James Eck. Let's see what's cooking in chat before we continue along. Sir D says, doesn't Regency just mean anything before cars and the like, interchangeable with Victorian and Edwardian? No. So correct me if I'm wrong out there, gang. But from my understanding, the Regency era, or like Regency shows, take place when King George, I forget what number he is the regent. Oh no, I'm sorry. King George is the king. The king who was around during the American Revolution. Well, later on, he has mental issues and he's unable to rule. So his son, maybe he becomes a King Edward or something like that. He is the regent. So he is ruling in his father's stead. And the Regency era is about 15 years? Tessie Trekkie says, yes, his son was a George too. That's what I thought. I thought it was like George the Third, and then he's George the Fourth. Kind of around that, in that there area. But I think the Regency period runs from something like 1805 to 1820, something like that. Somewhere in that vicinity. Sarah D says Regency is 1810 to 1820. Yep. Oh yeah, Sarah D says that was sarcasm, Jeff. You forget I'm fluent in that. Come on. Sarcasm, that's all lost in chat. I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, some people think the Victorian era is like 100 years. It's like, it's close. It's pretty long, but it's not 100. Matthew says, as a totally normal young teen in the late 80s, early 90s, they loved Upstairs, Downstairs on their local PBS station. Well, interestingly enough, I have never seen Upstairs, Downstairs, and I have considered watching it, even though it's probably in, 360p on YouTube. I mean, it is far, far, far from being even standard definition from what I can tell. But Upstairs, Downstairs is just supposed to be phenomenal. It is supposed to be excellent. And I think there's like 60 some episodes of it. Because, you know, those British shows, 6 episodes makes up a season. So, or they call it a series. So yes, I actually, funny enough, when the Gilded Age wrapped up, I was kind of like, you know, what can I watch that's kind of similar to it? Because usually I'll have something like that on when I'm, you know, working on the website and things like that. So Matthew also points out his wife is a huge Gilded Age fan. So they've seen a bunch with it. Paul Bigby asks, Jeff, did you get a Regency Cthulhu copy from Chaosium perchance? Yes, I did. And I reviewed it. All right, moving right along. Hey, let's talk about yet another item that's arriving in February. That's right. I'm talking about the Dragonbane Bestiary from my friends over at Free League Publishing. And here's what I know. From cat people to chimeras, fairies to frog people, hippogriffs to hydras, and many more. Creatures both wondrous and horrifying are crawling, slithering, climbing, and flying closer towards us all. Free League Publishing has announced the upcoming bestiary for the critically acclaimed fantasy role-playing game Dragonbane is set to release on February 27th. The Dragonbane bestiary includes no less than 63 creatures. That kind of throws me off. Shouldn't they just say 63 creatures? No, they say no less than. Each brought to life in text and art, as well as a random encounter and a seed for a complete adventure. Among these fantastic beings, there are 9 new playable kin included, each with their own unique ability. The full-color hardcover book is gloriously illustrated by the artist Johan Egerkrans and David Brascala. The book will be available both in a standard edition and a premium collector's edition with a faux leather cover and gold foil print. Also note that most, but not all, of the art in this book was previously published in the bestiary for the earlier edition of Drakar Akademiler, which is from 2016. The hardcover bestiary is going to carry an MSRP of $39.99 when it arrives next month. We'll point out the PDF is not available yet over on Drive-Thru RPG, but if you order the book from Free League, you will receive the PDF practically immediately. I'm also going to estimate the MSRP on the PDF will probably end up being approximately $19.99. Lulona's Cave says, got the book 2 days ago. It's outstanding, and many of them are playable characters. So are the pre-orders already arriving? It's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, things are a little odd right now with Free League Publishing. So we talked about this, I want to say it was last week, that for some strange reason, their warehouse didn't send out any of their review copies that had been scheduled to go out. So that's why you have not seen any Alien Building Better Worlds or the Walking Dead universe coverage here, because I don't have it. So Lulona's Cave says, yes, if you ordered in the end of October, you already got it. That's nice. That's very cool. I like that. Matthew Constantine says, still need to grab Dragonbane because I need another game I'm not likely to get to the table anytime soon. There are some solitaire rules for it, though. I will point that out. You can play it a little solo. So Paul Bigby says, yeah, Matt, I love the Sandbaggers. I've heard of that. And the audio and video is just awful, unfortunately. Yeah, there are quite a few shows that I had never heard of from the BBC from like the 80s, because of course Upstairs Downstairs was so popular and won so many awards and things like that. Of course, everybody jumps on the bandwagon to try to do this stuff. So Walona's Cave said, yes, they did a page through. Nice. Very cool. Well, I'll do a first look if and when that arrives here in the Duct Tape Studios. Let's wrap up the news because the latest source book for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay from Cubicle 7 Entertainment arrives in print next month. Here's what I know about Lustria. Far from the shores of the old world, across the great ocean, is the mysterious continent of Lustria. Tales tell of troves of golden treasure and repositories of arcane lore ready for the taking by those bold enough to risk it. Each week, it seems that another ship full of hopeful adventurers departs to this new world on a voyage of exploration. But those who make landfall on the shores of Lustria find themselves in an environment that is wholly inimical to warm-blooded life. The jungles seethe with venomous snakes, carnivorous lizards, poisonous flora, and deadly disease. The few precarious settlements that cling to the coast arouse the ire of Lustria's oldest inhabitants, the lizard men, who sally forth from their temple cities to destroy all who encroach on their territory. This book contains all that players and GMs of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay need to set their adventures in the mysterious continent of Lustria. The book contains articles on the history of Lustria, from the coming of the enigmatic Old Ones and the height of lizard man civilization to the present day, when the plans of the Old Ones are disrupted by those who seek to carry them out, and younger, warm-blooded species seek to rob Lustria of its wealth. The great temple city of Latstodon, home to a multitude of lizard men and center of devotions to the impassive and unshakable Old One, Lazkotl. The ruined temple city of Quatza, an old lair of the Skaven of Clan Pestilens that houses many terrible secrets and brooding plagues. Skeggi, a Norse foothold of raiders and traders to the north of Lustria, where adventurers may get rich quick, but more likely die trying. The Citadel of Dawn, a high elf fortress and port on the southern cape, threatened by the ambitions of the notorious dark elf corsair Lokir Felhart. There's also the Vampire Coast, a marshy morass of mangrove swamp within which Arch-Commodore Luther Harkin holds his court of the undead and plots to expand his realm. Great new rules for explorer careers, founding and managing a settlement, lizard men of several different species, events and endeavors, parasitic diseases, monstrous creatures of the Lustrian desert, and jungle, and fully playable skink characters. The 224-page hardcover is going to arrive February 21st. It's going to carry an MSRP of $49.99. You can grab the PDF right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $24.99. Sweet. I am very happy to know that this is going to be on its way to me very, very shortly. And I'm excited to see, well, not necessarily to see Cubicle 7 leave the old world behind, but I am interested to see them explore a new continent effectively, which is supposed to have some new adventures coming out also. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I think the new campaign that's supposed to be coming out sometime this year, which I think is supposed to be a 3-parter. I think it's going to be 3 books. I think it takes place in Lustria. I don't know that for sure, but I do have a feeling that's where it's going to be. Kevin R. Smith is with us, as is Omenal. Good to see you both. It's been a while since we've seen Omenal. Yes. The Omen Owl. They said they usually wait until June or July when they have their 50% off sale. All right, let's see what we've got here. Tesco Love is also in chat with us. Welcome. All right, that is it for the news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storyteller's Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. Hell, you can buy me a 2-liter bottle of soda. And thankfully, there are quite a few people out there who do use the banner ads over at thegaminggang.com and or stop by paypal.me/thegaminggang. So thank you very, very much, everybody. It is certainly appreciated. So we're going to continue the show. I'm going to dive on into some random musings, tell you what's been going on in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
Secret Sand.
Where?
Secret Sand.
Here.
Secret weapon in this case shoots from inside.
Secret Sand.
Real camera.
Really works?
Takes real photos inside, outside.
Black and white.
Color, 16 photos from each roll.
Secret Sand.
With periscope, message missile, rifle stock, barrel extension, shoots from outside, shoots from inside. Real camera.
Hide it inside.
Hold it outside. Real photos, there's only one. Secret Sand.
Now, another wonderful toy from Topper.
You have any Wilkins coffee in your house?
No.
You know, a house isn't a home without Wilkins coffee.
And I say to you, are rabbits never to taste Trix, the fruit-flavored cereal?
No.
Are rabbits never to enjoy the Trix real fruit colors? Raspberry red, lemon yellow, orange.
Never. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
Wait, this is not the American way. All you kids watching, is your chance to vote on it. Look for these specially marked boxes of Tricks. On the back, there's a voting ballot. Vote yes if you want the rabbit to get Tricks. Vote no if you don't want the rabbit to get Tricks. Or send a postcard with your vote to Box 3, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You can send in as many votes as you like.
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
But maybe I'll get a box if you send in a yes vote for the rabbit.
Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I remember one of those elections that they did where you had to vote if the rabbit was going to get tricks or not. And I thought, okay, so that commercial was from 1968. So I know I don't remember that because that would have put me at around a year old, maybe. So I went and took a peek, see if I could find out some more info. And there were 5 times that General Mills, I think it was always General Mills up to a certain point, because I forget who owns Trix now, but I don't even think General Mills is around anymore. But Trix is. 5 times they offered the opportunity for kids to vote if the rabbit was going to get their hands on Trix. Once in 68, once in 76. That's when I remember it. 1980 and 1984. So we had 4 times it was an election year. And then for some strange reason, in 1991, the Trix Rabbit took part in the Tour de France. It's like, what? And I guess at the end of the race, it was, the judges were arguing because I guess the prize was Trix. And the 2 judges, I guess, were arguing if the rabbit was going to get it or not. So they told you to vote in on that. And every time it has been up for vote for the rabbit to get their hands on Trix. Anybody want to care to guess what the answer is? Overwhelmingly, yes. And I remember as a kid sending that, wasn't a box top. I think you cut it off the back of the box and mailed it in, and I voted yes. I was like, yep, there you go. There you go. Edge for Life and Kabuki Kid have joined us, as has Jack Hanks. So we got a nice chat rocking and rolling right now. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So a few things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I changed up the audio again. So hopefully it sounds halfway decent, a little livelier maybe than it usually does. So yes, I actually invested in some plugins, even though I have Adobe Audition. It's a relatively older edition of Audition. But I don't know, I always seem to have some issues using the virtual audio cable and this and that and so on and so forth. So I picked up some plugins that I can use with OBS Studio, which is what I use to stream as well as record videos and stuff. So, I don't know. Omanal asks, was this the beginning of the doping scandal with the rabbit? As soon as I mentioned Tour de France, I knew somebody was going to make a reference to Lance Armstrong. Kabuki Kid says, those kids were always jerks to that rabbit. Funny enough, I ran across the first commercial that featured the rabbit. And I almost shared it tonight, but it's like a 240p video. It's awful. And it's about a minute in length, and he's like super depressed. It's like, it's so weird. He's like real depressed that he can't get his hands on any tricks. So Edge for Life says, I used to have that mic. It's incredibly sensitive, but found it not but much better than their $30 no-name mic. Maybe they're crazy. I don't know. Well, you got to remember too that a lot of times it's how it's EQ'd, and I am awful at EQing stuff. And some microphones are better for different voices. So sometimes I try to do my best so that it doesn't sound too muddy. I don't want to sound like adults in Charlie Brown commercials. Wah, 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 wah. Wah. Anyway, so I had an opportunity to email back and forth a little bit with the new marketing person for Cubicle 7 Entertainment. And we are looking at probably a package coming from Cubicle 7 Entertainment that is going to rival the one that came from Chaosium Inc., because there are quite a few books that are going to be in that, which will be arriving. Because once again, it was kind of, people think, I'm just cranky when I talk about how poor a lot of the marketing folks are in the tabletop gaming industry. But it's things like this, which, it's my experiences that have taken place that kind of sour me on some of these marketing people. So I'm not talking about the new marketing person for Cubicle 7 Entertainment. They seem very nice. And they seem like they're actually planning on doing their job. Matthew Constantine says they record on a burner phone, so all their videos sound like garbage. But they're lazy and poor, so there's a discussion about how shitty the kids are in cereal commercials. Animated kids, not real kids. Cubicle Kid says, except Mikey. Everybody likes Mikey. Yeah, too bad Mikey just hates everything. But yeah, that's kind of funny. So Travis Williams says, cereal commercial kids can kick rocks. Cubicle Kid says, rest in peace, Mikey. Infamously killed by an urban legend. Yes, that's right. Pop Rocks and Coke. That's the story I remember. Oh, his stomach exploded because he ate Pop Rocks and drank Coke. So, good news from Cubicle 7 Entertainment. Also chatted with the PR person from Troll Lord Games on Friday. Actually spent more than 2 hours talking to him on the phone. So we are arranging some stuff so there will be far more coverage of Troll Lord Games in the near future. And Elliot and I will be covering Founders and Legends up in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So that has been ironed out. I have been guaranteed that we will have passes to go up there and cover it, and we're not going to have to purchase them. So that is a big, big deal for us. So that was very cool. I was very excited to see that. And talk to the PR person from Troll Lord Games. So that was very cool. There's a lot of stuff going on with them. So don't be surprised if you see some interviews here and there with Luke Gygax and the Chenault brothers, maybe even prior to Founders and Legends. Because I think, now this wasn't discussed in depth, but I think we are going to see, well, okay, let me rephrase this. I think the executors of Gary Gygax's estate are going to give a thumbs up on more of the Gary Gygax content that hasn't been in print for a long time for Castles and Crusades. And Amazing Adventures, wasn't Amazing Adventures his design? I forget. I think that's going to be on the horizon. So, and according to the PR person over at Troll Lord Games, they're just going to give me carte blanche to be able to just order whatever I want from their store and they won't charge me shipping or anything like that. So we will see what happens in the very near future as far as that goes. Bill N is with us in chat, says, nice. Trollord and Goodman were their big discoveries of 2023. Loving them since. Jack Hank says, I really like Castles and Crusades as well as Dungeon Crawl Classics. Kevin R. Smith says, Legendary Adventures with a J. Yes, that was it. Matthew Constantine says, Dangerous Journeys. Well, I know that was another Gary Gygax role-playing game, but I don't think that was Troll Lord. So I don't think that was for Troll Lord Games. So we've got that. Got some goodies in the mail over the past few days. So Modifius Entertainment sent me the Player's Guide for Dreams and Machines, as well as the Game Master's Guide. So we will be taking a look at these very soon. Also got The Serpent and the Sands for Achtung Cthulhu. And Viva la Resistance! Also for Achtung Cthulhu. I don't know if The Hunt and Motor City had showed up prior to my last live stream. These did arrive, and I did a first look video already for The Hunt. So I shared that. That popped up yesterday, if I remember correctly. Also got my Paizo shipment. So we've got the Starfinder flip mat. We have the finale to Season of Ghosts in here. So this is part 4. And then the standalone adventure path for Starfinder. The Scoured Stars? Oh, just Scoured Stars, which I seem to recall this was the, I almost said Pathfinder, Starfinder Society Adventure 1 year. So it's all collected in one book. So what I would normally have been doing is sharing my Paizo preview for the month. But because it had arrived on the 30th, they go on sale tomorrow. They actually arrive in stores tomorrow. I thought it'd be kind of goofy for me to do a January Paizo preview on the final day of January. So what I'll end up doing is I will just do a standalone video for Scoured Stars, standalone video for my review of the 3rd chapter of Season of Ghosts for Pathfinder. And then I will also do a first look at the finale to that adventure path too. Then I got another shipment, a box from GMT Games. Now you may recall last week I did a news piece on this box. This box, no joke, this box has to be about 9 pounds. So Panzer North Africa. So this is the latest in the Panzer lineup from GMT Games. And this box is seriously heavy. So I will be sharing a first look video of that. And I can't even attempt to pronounce this. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But this is, I think this is this part of the coin series? Almost looks like it. Well, maybe not. But taking a look at the board on the back, it does kind of look like a coin game. But it doesn't say it's a coin title. No, this is Irregular Conflict Series, Volume 1. So lots of goodies. And also, Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, the author of Shadow Dark, is sending along the first 3 issues of the Cursed Scroll zine. So I'll be sharing a look at those. And maybe I'll have an opportunity to get her on board and do an interview with her, maybe in the not too distant future. So that should be pretty cool. Also, so loads and loads cooking right now for the gaming gang. Yes. Last thing I was going to mention is I would really love to put together some sort of game group out here in the burbs near where I live. And I mean, I'd be more than happy to get together like every couple of weeks and run role-playing games. I would really love to do that simply because my best friend, Elliot Miller, it's so kind of hit or miss trying to get together with him to go, to play stuff. And usually when we get together, it's just the two of us. So I'm not really running role-playing games and stuff like that. My nephew Cameron is actually going to be in Africa for 6 weeks on a deployment. So he's going to be leaving. I think he goes to Texas for a week because he's already gone to do part of his training. And then he goes to Texas. I think it's for a week. Then he comes back for a day or two. And then he's off to Africa. So he won't be around. So yeah. So anyway, if you're anywhere near, say, Yorkville, Illinois, and you'd be interested in doing some gaming, see, the problem that arises is I can't game here. So if you are familiar with the gaming gang, you know that my real full-time job is keeping an eye on my dad, I guess we will say. And it just can't play here. So, and I can't go too far because I drive an old beat-up car. So, Travis Williams says Castles and Crusades versus Osric. Quite different. Very, very different. Tessie Trekkie says, Jeff, those books are awesome. All of them. Paul Bigby said, Achtung Cthulhu, awesome. Matthew says, I'd have been all over Achtung Cthulhu if it had come out in the 90s. I did a bunch of prep work for a pulp World War II campaign back then. Never made it happen. Never made it happen, I should say. Wild Hunter says, I like the duel system they used so you could adapt it to Call of Cthulhu rules. Yes, back in the day. In fact, when Achtung Cthulhu originally came out, it was for Call of Cthulhu. So Kabuki Kid says, yes, this is an offshoot of Coin. Travis Williams says, Kicking Rock Society of Gaming. Anyway, so I thought I'd float that out there on the stream. And of course, if people are in this area, which I know Sarah D is not far, but I don't think there's too many of you out there watching, at least who take part in chat, who probably live near. But I am also going to probably roll something like this out on the social media accounts as well. See what I might be able to do. Matthew says they're working on putting a group together too, hoping to have their first session in a couple of weeks, but they only have 2 players so far. And 2 more who might join in March. That's cool. 4 plus yourself. That's a decent table. Don't need to get crazier than that. You know, it's funny, if I had a place that I thought I could do like a meetup kind of thing for board games, like at a tavern or whatever out this way, I would do that. Just never encountered any place that falls into that. Every place is usually pretty loud, a lot of music blasting. Even if it's, a restaurant bar, probably not going to be. So yes, and Sarah D points out, yes, Sarah D is probably the only member of the gang that doesn't actually play tabletop games. You give them a try once in a while, they're not going to bite. Travis Williams says, I'm from the Great White North, so not close, unfortunately. Matthew Constantine says, they're in the suburbs of the District of Columbia. Very cool. Nice. All righty then. So that is it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my first look at The Hunt from 25th Century Games. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit gaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you're not going to find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you watched live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only are you keeping me company, you're also keeping each other company. But I know a lot of you out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the Gaming Gang channel. Everybody enjoyed the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow. And here's hoping, as always, you all get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.